November 30th, 2021. Halfcast 197. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you.
Tragic, we need you.
An evening of reflection. Let's do it. 3 killed, 6 hurt in shooting at Michigan High School. And just over the years, be it that the frequency of these things are happening, and it's not even isolated incidents anymore where it's just troubled teenagers. We're coming to find out that in some cases that children were actually planning this for months. Sometimes they were planning this for years. This is just my opinion, but the way I see things happening is eventually they're going to start slowly doing away with brick and mortar schools, being that online learning is so much more effective and it's only getting more effective. They're going to start doing away with brick and mortar schools publicly. They might even just move to privatize in school learning. Period. 3 people, all believed to be students, were killed in a shooting at Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan, earlier today. Authorities said 6 others were shot and injured, including a teacher. Their conditions were not immediately clear. The suspected shooter, a 15-year-old male student, was taken into custody within 5 minutes. Authorities said a handgun had been confiscated. In some cases, these events only take place over a short amount of time, but the damage that's caused just from the pure, like, just, it's so random that nobody sees it coming, that it doesn't take long for a horrible amount of damage to be inflicted. Authorities said they believe he acted alone. The teen has not mentioned a motive. Authorities said over 100 calls poured into 911 as the shooting unfolded. Authorities said the entire incident lasted 5 minutes. It might be a subject for a national referendum. It might be a subject for some type of referendum going into the future. But I can definitely see parents starting to lean towards keeping their kids home to learn online. I don't see situations where kids feel safe going to school. How can a child learn when they don't know if the kid that has his hand in his pocket, if it's a gun, or if whatever, you don't know what's going to happen from day to day. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know you're rocking with your boy. Teens charged in teacher's death asked to be released to their parents. Plead not guilty. No, you don't get that. No, you've given up your right to run back home to mommy and daddy for your parents to fix it. In this case, you've made your bed. Willard Noble, Chayton Miller, and Jeremy Everett Goodell, both 16, asked to go home with their parents as they pleaded not guilty Monday to charges of killing their high school Spanish teacher. I don't think you understand how this works. This wasn't a childhood prank. You actually took somebody's life. There's no do-overs. There's no going back from that. The teens are accused of killing 66-year-old Nohema Graber in Fairfield, Iowa. Graber's body was found concealed under a tarp, wheelbarrow, and railroad ties. That's like conspiracy because you knew that what you did was wrong, and yet you still tried to hide it. The teens are charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Lawyers for Miller and Goodell asked the judge last week to lower their bond of $1 million so they could be released under their parents' supervision. They have to understand the gravity of what they've just done. Like, this is not a childhood prank where just detention or a slap on the wrist or you write an apology or you give an apology. No, you cannot take this back. There's nothing you can do to undo this. Prosecutors said the bond should remain at $1 million or even be raised to $2 million. A $1 million cash only bond judge is so far unobtainable that it essentially amounts to pretrial detention without bond, said Nicole Jensen, the state public defender appointed to represent Goodale. The attorneys asked for house arrest and additional monitoring, citing that the teens don't have the ability or means to flee. Jensen said the most Goodale could afford to pay was around $10,000 because his father works in construction. Goodale doesn't have a passport or driver's license. Jefferson County Attorney Chauncey Moulding previously stated that there is no outside level of supervision that could guarantee the safety of the community due to the brutal nature of the crime. Police said in court documents that they received a tip that Goodale posted the details about the plan to kill the teacher on social media. This is sick. The documents indicated, I don't care how old you are, you're planning on killing somebody. That maybe is just mistakes that kids make when they're young. No, this is not it. Whatever that's determined to be, it's not this. They plan this out. The documents indicated investigators found clothing that appeared to be stained with blood at the homes of Miller and Goodale. Graber was reported missing on November 2nd, and her remains were found later that day at a Fairfield Park, where she was known to. The term Fairfield is just killing me. It's I don't know. It's a two-syllable word, and it's just beating my ass. I'm sorry. Park, where she was known to take daily walks. Earlier court filings stated that Graber suffered inflicted trauma to the head. Miller and Goodell waived their right to a speedy trial, which means prosecutors are not required to try them within 90 days of formal charges being filed on November 12th. Both said they are being held in juvenile detention facilities. Stuff. Nothing called for that lady to be so brutally murdered like that, and for you to have planned it out, for you to do something so heinous to that lady. Defeated. Mike Lindell ends 96-hour TV marathon after failing to gain support. That man horrifies me. When you think of Mike Lindell, all you think of is pillows. You think of sleep, and you look into his eyes, and it looks like he hasn't laid down in like the past 3 months. That man is a lunatic. Mike Lindell ended a 96-hour online marathon entitled Thanks-A-Thon after failing to gain strong support for his Supreme Court case. If there's one thing, if you're not pleased around the way about the way politics is going overall across the board, then please be thankful, if nothing else, that they're not giving this guy the time of day, because you don't want this man on no type of platform where he can call any type of shots. The My Pillow CEO has long been a fervent supporter of President Donald Trump, and I honestly don't think Trump is claiming him. I think he's claiming Trump, but at this point, I think Trump claiming him looks bad on Trump right now, as and has continued to make baseless claims that the 2020 election was rigged in favor of President Joe Biden and that he would file a lawsuit. You're fighting this harder than Trump is, despite providing no evidence for widespread election fraud. Lindell claimed he would have to have the support of multiple. You're spending all that pillow money on a campaign, on a shallow campaign, on a baseless campaign. Lindell claimed he would have the support of multiple states attorneys in general, as he hoped to take the issue to the Supreme Court and waste those good people's time. The 60-year-old claimed he would have his support by Thanksgiving, a deadline he set himself. He's not doing no analytics. He's not doing anything, but he did not receive it, and the lawsuit was not filed. By the end of the marathon, Mike Lindell appeared defeated. Like you need one of those, what, a pillows? Yeah, like according to viewers, and in his final words, asked the people to take action. The brief clip has been posted to Twitter and viewed over 150,000 times. with many viewers remarking how tired and defeated Lindell appears. Yeah, he looks like he needs a nap. The clip shared by attorney Ron Filipkowski was posted to Twitter with the caption, as Mike Lindell concludes his 96-hour marathon, I'm trying to keep people interested for 10 minutes. And you really think they're going to listen to you rant for 96 hours? As Mike Lindell concludes his 96-hour marathon to convince America to rise up and demand the Supreme Court accept this case, he sounds pretty damn beaten down and defeated. Poor guy. He said, if you have a voice, you have got to speak out. We are going to be that voice. Lindell then started to say he would be back before trailing off and looking down away from the camera. He then stopped speaking as he tapped the pen on the desk before continuing. He said, everybody watching, it depends on all of you now. We have got the tools and we are going to be back and talk about the pathway forward. During I don't think he's just not that popular. He really seems like a lunatic. He really does. Even on the commercials. Like, I knew you would. Yeah, he looks like he's all for somebody who's supposed to be an advocate of a well-rested lifestyle and good sleeping habits. He just looks like he's always frayed around the edges for me. During the stream, Newsweek also reported on a low number of viewers, despite the claim by Lindell that millions were watching. On the YouTube stream of the event, only a dozen people were watching the event. I think I beat him. Posted on Lindell's YouTube channel, Freedom Patriot Network. The stream ended with 9,164 views. The exact viewing figures are unclear as the event was also being streamed on Lindell's own platforms. Frank's speech and Lindell TV, where viewing figures are not shared publicly. On Wednesday, Lindell held a protest outside the Fox News headquarters in Manhattan. You know what? If you're going to spend all this money campaigning for God knows what by now, get a team around you, get some analysts, get some writers, get some people, yeah, get some people around you that's going to make it look like you're not just a madman. Only a handful of protesters joined the pillow salesman. They call him a pillow salesman. At least, good or bad, whatever you say about Trump, whenever you speak of Trump outside of the presidency, you business. You know, you hear business. Like, yeah, this guy, all you know him for is just pillows. Pillows. He looks like he sells you a pillow and then watches you sleep. Where they could be seen on camera chanting, "Shame on Fox, shame on Fox." Let's be adults. And I think even for people who want to be behind him, at times he just comes off as just being maniacal. Like, yeah, he just comes off as being like whatever's driving you doesn't seem quite right. Next up, man, age 85, gets 10 years in prison for killing romantic rival. Every night I gotta fight to prove my love. Freehold, New Jersey. Hey, back to New Jersey. An 85-year-old man who admitted using his SUV to purposely hit and kill a romantic rival 3 years ago has been sentenced to 10 years in state prison. And be it the fact that he even remembered what he was doing 10 minutes later, let alone 3 years, means that he really loved that woman. Johnny Westbrook of Asbury Park had pleaded guilty in July to aggravated manslaughter in the hit and run death of 63-year-old Daniel Rivera. No, I'm not going to let this spring chicken take my woman. Westbrook's sentence was imposed Monday and made public Tuesday. 10 years at 85. That is really like life. That could be a life sentence. The incident occurred in December 2018 when Westbrook followed Rivera, his neighbor, in an adjacent apartment building to a nearby store. She's mine. Westbrook waited outside for several minutes, and when Rivera emerged from the business, Westbrook drove his SUV onto the sidewalk, ran over Rivera, and dragged him several feet. Left the scene on foot and was later found he's pretty spry for an 85-year-old. Just hit him, got out of the car, and walked home. Watch Matlock heat up a chicken pot pie and watch Wheel of Fortune. A month earlier, authorities say the two men got into a physical. It's just grumpy old men. I swear that's what I'm thinking about when I read this. A month earlier, authorities say the two men got into a physical fight in the apartment building hallway where they were both found sleeping next to each other, exhausted from said fight, swinging canes at each other before Westbrook punched the victim in the nose. This man has a lot of life left in him. He must really like that girl. Defense attorneys tried unsuccessfully to have Westbrook declared incompetent for trial. No, he knows exactly what he's doing. Saying he had memory loss. No, he doesn't. A psychiatrist, though, testified that she believed Westbrook was faking or exaggerating any memory loss. The Asbury Park Press has reported Westbrook previously served 6 years of a 7-year prison term in February 2004, shooting of a Neptune man who was having an affair with a 23-year-old woman to whom Westbrook had given. He's a lover. He's a lover. He shot a Neptune man who was having an affair with a 23-year-old woman whom Westbrook had given an engagement ring. Yeah, hey, he loves hard. You can't fault him for that. You could send him jail for 10 years, though. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. That being said, 10 years he hit that, ran that poor man over. I'm going to wrap this one up, but I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.